discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we are at the final segment for our top 100 games of all time, the top 10! Top 10! Kat's here to probably shit on my games, but these are the best 10 games in the world, so she's not going to have anything.
The best 10 games in the world.
In the whole wide world, until we do this next time, and these all move around again.
Do you think we'll have any crossover in this top 10?
Yes.
But how much?
2.
You think
there'll be 2 crossovers?
1.
None, actually.
There might be 1. Maybe. I can't remember what you said on your last one.
God, I would say there's going to be 0.
You think?
I mean, maybe 1, because I can't remember if you've played it enough to put it on that high up on your list, but we'll see.
But I have, Kat's here to commentate. I have 5 new games in my top 10.
Holy crap, I have 3.
Yeah, 5 games sprung
Cult
up.
of the new!
Cult of the good, of the good game. Like, yeah, I mean, these are fantastic. So let's get started at...
Well, then we will have 1 crossover, because if you have that many new ones, then I think one of them will be...
Probably.
You change your mind on that one.
Yeah, I think, or I miscounted or something. My number 10 is a brand new game that has since replaced Blood Rage for me, and that is...
Candyland.
Candyland, yeah, that's it, is Rising Sun. Rising Sun, I think, is better than Blood Rage in every way. Well, actually, I love the theme. I love feudal Japan over Vikings. I think it's more interesting. It does a lot of the same stuff, though. Well, I guess not really, but it does have card drafting, where the cards that you have and the abilities are your own. The monsters are your own. So you have that. Yeah. What I also really like is your faction has its own special ability from the get-go, and everyone's is really good and really unique. Then you have the what do they call it? The buddy system, I guess, where you can the ally system, where you ally with someone else, and then only you two can be allies. And whenever you pick your action from 4 options, you get the top one, and you and your partner get the bottom one. So there's more negotiation involved in this, to where it's like allying up, and it's like, hey, let's do these, and you'll get this, and I'll get this if we team up. I love the combat, how okay, well, this is what's going to be battling this round, so we know where to go and aim to fight for. Then you have where your coins you wager on these 4 tracks of like, okay, well, I'm going to try, like Kat does one where she always kills herself, and for each time you commit seppuku, and then you get points for each one. Or you hire Ronin to help you, and then once again it's a strength comparison to see who wins. I love the Bushi are your fighters, and then you can send people up to the shrines to get, bonus stuff up there. It just does everything right for me. Like, the miniatures are amazing. Like, I have the enlarged player mat up there as well. It's fucking great.
Did you get that mat for me?
Maybe. Yes, I did. Yeah. I did get that. That's the one I got from you. Yeah, so I love Rising Sun. I mean, Blood Rage is still phenomenal, but I think I like the mechanics here more. So.
Wow, I wish that art was better.
What do you mean? The art's great.
Those minis fucking suck.
Compared to Hate, yeah, Rising Sun is garbage now.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
GG.
A lot of betrayal you can have in that game. Kat would know
I
about
wouldn't
that.
know anything about that. Does Brad know about that?
Yeah, I watched her.
Just
Where
horribly
you backstabbed that one guy.
Just aggressive.
And
he was all butthurt.
He hates the game now. So.
I'd be mad at me too, because it's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I had the option, so I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. So that's my number 10, Rising Sun.
My number 10 was my number 1.
Oh, God.
That's not
Well,
bad.
it's essentially shit. No, it's shit now.
My number 60 was my number 1.
So, have you have a guess? What was my number 1 last
Oh, 5 Tribes.
Oh.
You said that was your number one.
Of the
You
one
did.
Last year.
last
Last
year. Last year. It's
Last year, my number one was Android Netrunner.
Oh, you said 5 Tribes. You literally said when I talked about 5 Tribes that it was your number one game.
Oh, I do remember you talking
Well, it
about
was
that
in my
one.
top 10 of all time the very first time I did it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, well
With
then
the
Android
guys.
Netrunner.
Android Netrunner fell from 1 to 10, mainly because the game is
Shit.
dead as
Shit.
far as Fantasy Flight's concerned.
Aw.
I still have all my stuff.
He still sometimes
There's
calls
there's
and
there's
cries.
a fan base still trying to keep the game alive.
Just
but-
let it. Why can't you just admit it's over?
Well, because it's a lifestyle game, and they're doing a good job. It's just none of the events are around here, so it's just kind of slowly going. I'm pretty much just playing it online now, for the most part, and it'll probably just keep falling down. Even though it's still probably my favorite game. It's just not gonna get played nearly as much. So it's just gonna keep falling away and stuff. But yeah.
All right.
Netrunner.
What's Android Netrunner about?
Android Netrunner. Yes. Sorry.
You just sat over there in like depression.
I was in, yeah, that's pouting. Was Fantasy Flight LCG in a cyberpunk universe, the Android universe. One person plays as the corporation, one person plays as a hacker, or a runner, is what they call it. And the corp wins if they score 7 points worth of agendas. The runner wins if they steal 7 points worth of agendas. And it's very asymmetric. So when you play it competitively, you take turns. One person's the corp, one's the runner, and then you flip after that game and you go that way. You're pretty much just, there's a lot of hidden information when you're playing the corp, a lot of face down cards. It could be traps, could be agendas, could be assets that you can use to benefit you money wise or whatever. And with runners, you're installing programs that are supposed to hack through their protection to try to steal that stuff. Again, they still have this IP. Fantasy Flight does, so there's games, and I think they just started coming out with an RPG setting.
Oh,
in
okay.
Android now. But yeah, other than that, I mean that's really it. I'm hoping that the WotC has the mechanics license, and they took the license back. So I'm kind of hoping maybe they put another theme on it and bring it back out. Or
Sweet.
something else.
Sweet.
Cyberpunk 20. Whatever that new video is.
Oh, 2077?
That's the
I think is
rumor.
what it is.
Cyberpunk 2019.
Hey,
Yep.
my number 9 is also new to the list, and is actually one, I think. Let's see, Kickstarter. Okay, it's not as bad.
Have I played this game?
No,
Okay.
but I don't know if I think you want to.
Have
It's
I played
yes,
this game?
yes. This is actually on the channel.
It could
In
be
fact,
anything.
All of my top 10 are on the channel.
Nope, I don't believe you.
So, my number 9 is Deep Madness.
Ah.
Like, this one just, God, it's so good. It's so thematic. Like, it just hits, like, the Alien, the Dead Space, let's see, there's another one in there. Mainly Alien and Dead Space were like kind of the ones that just really stuck out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cooperative game. Oh, Cthulhu. Lovecraft kind of jumps
Well,
in
it's
there.
it's got the word
called Deep
madness in it,
Madness.
so obvious.
But they have you're a team of not really survivors, but like people that are in an underwater mining facility, and shit hits the fan, obviously, and you are trying to survive. And it's scenario based, so you're trying to complete the objectives. But what makes this game really neat is the mechanisms that they have. So you have your like underwater, like your tiles can flip to where they become I can't remember what, like insane. Like there's like the tiles that will flip, and then the corridors or the different spaces will have something unique about them that affect your character or characters as they're going through there. And then some of them can be underwater, which means that you have an oxygen meter. When you're trying to do actions in there, then your oxygen goes down. Then you have your sanity, which is really neat because like instead of Arkham Horror where you just take sanity damage, like you actually your sanity, that's your threshold, and then once it's over, you get a madness token. And madness tokens, and once you get 3 of those, then you have to deal with a madness card, and they're horrendous. This game is just dripping theme. Another thing I really like is the turn order. So you have your character cards, and each character has a monster underneath them, and it goes character monster, and then so you just go like that, which means you can plan ahead. So you can look at who's going, and it's like, okay, there's 1 monster left, so if I can kill him, then we will skip that monster and go straight to you again. And then that will rotate the... What?
Do you like that initiative better than like the Aeon's End? Like if you had a deck and you mixed up and had them randomly pop up?
I like this.
You like that
I
better?
like this better because you can plan ahead
Right.
way more. And that's what we did in the run-through. We looked at it, and it's like, okay, if we can kill these guys... Like, so the guns are awesome. All of the Kickstarter stuff is amazing. The miniatures are really good too. There's so much just dripping theme from this that it's so good. It's so good. It's hard too. Like the first time we played this, because then you have Spawn. Oh, I have Spawn, minis, and that's where a lot of, and you get to choose when one shows up where it goes in that room. So over time, the room's devoured, will become like devoured, and you can choose where it goes. So depending on your scenario, you can try and make it not as bad, but it becomes pretty bad later on.
Pretty quick.
Like it's very hard. I love it. What do you got?
Blatant fucking rip-off of
Yeah.
Ripley, but I love it!
Oh yeah, yeah.
The cat.
Yeah,
is-
Jones.
Jones
Jonesy.
is a fucking murderer. Cult
The cat.
monster leader. Yeah. Follow me!
Yeah, she played a character that was essentially Sigourney Weaver, looked exactly like her.
Not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, and then she had a little cat mini that, like, the way monsters work is they go obviously towards the target, but the cat counted. So, like, the monsters would go towards the cat because it was distracting them, so it kind of kept them off us for a little bit. I mean, just minor things. You can shut doors, and you can try and keep the doors shut when they're trying to break through, and it's a die roll if you're trying to succeed. There's just a lot. There's, big monsters that you can have, like the sanity, and just the way the world works. Like, there are ways for you to draw, like, good cards. I can't remember what they're called. Consciousness cards,
I
maybe.
think so.
And those are just, like, more... Like, it's like playing a video game and you find, like, a terminal and you just read up on what's happening. So, there's an overarching world. This company, I mean, I have the...
Which, the overarching world really, really, really does remind me a lot of,
Well,
Deep Space.
Yep, that's why I need book things!
That's not my fault!
Just the artwork. I got my art book signed, but the artwork. Oh, Jacob Clark. If you ever played Dead Space, that's Isaac Clarke.
Right.
Like pretty much to a T. So you could definitely tell they cared. Oh, Amanda Weaver.
Oh my god.
Right.
That's very much
The way
her.
that they avoided copyright is because they used Sigourney Weaver's last name, not Ripley.
Right. So.
They could have named her Rip Lee.
So yeah, it's
Your name's
just really good.
Yeah. And I like how that game, when a room becomes, devoured, it kind of reminds me of the Upside Down and
Yeah,
Stranger
like
Things.
it's just disgusting. A bunch of blood
Yeah.
on the walls and
gooey stuff.
yeah,
Gooey guts.
it's fantastic. The
The
monsters.
madnesses are pretty fucking harsh. Like really.
They are hard, yeah. The game is hard, don't get me wrong. Like, we were so close to dying in the run-through. So yeah. And they're about to release they released another Kickstarter where it was just more to it, and actually big boxes to contain everything, which I'm excited for. And then they're about to do another one called Dawn of Madness, which is a prequel to Deep Madness. So I'm excited. Deep Madness is awesome. My number 9.
That's not how to-
Alright, my number 9 is probably the most, I can't think of the word. I would say probably the most thematic, or most where you feel like you're in the game. And it's something you've played and talked about just a little bit ago. And it is Mansions of Madness, second edition.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Like you talked about it. in the last, I think it was the last 10 years.
Yeah, it was
in
number
11, 20,
17.
right. Everything to do with the app and everything makes everything so intuitive. You don't have to waste as much. You don't have the disconnect of having to, keep track of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It does everything for you, so you can just keep the story
You
moving
just
along. And the app is just brilliant. I mean, they've used that same kind of formula a little bit with the Imperial Assault and
Yep.
stuff. I
Descent.
still think it's better with this one, the Mansions of Madness.
I haven't tried Imperial Assault yet. I need
It's
to.
not bad, but it's just the spookiness factor.
Oh,
of this
right,
and everything.
right.
They kind of run the same, but
Yeah.
but I think this is just a cash cow for them because, like we said earlier, they can just keep coming out with just app content.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have to come out with any more actual physical sets if
Right.
they didn't want to, and just keep coming up with new storylines and go wild.
Yep.
I play this solo primarily. I've played it with multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also said earlier, the one when I do play it, more than one person, it's on a big screen with surround sound, so it's like the music from the app is just all
Yeah.
around you, like you're even more in the game. But I mean, I don't know really what else to say.
Right,
We've talked about it quite a bit on
really
that,
good.
and it's a super good. Probably it is my favorite Cthulhu game.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is your favorite co-op game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think it's so fun.
I think so. Yeah, my number 17, so that's still really good. My number 8 is a game you have yet to play, and I think you would really, really like it because it plays probably best solo, just the nature of the game. Fell from 4, so it fell 4 spaces. This War of Mine
Oh yeah.
Is,
yeah, I need to try that.
is just an outstanding game. I think you're going to notice all the games on my top 10 definitely deal with theme for the most part. But this War of Mine, if you don't know, you play civilians in a war-torn city, just trying to survive and make it through till the end of the war. So in this, no one controls specific characters. Everyone controls just the characters, and you have them do different actions around the house, like cleaning up rubble to get resources, then doing items, managing their mental and physical traumas. So like people can become depressed, or they can become sick, they can become fatigued or wounded, which affects them, and over time, resources become scarce, so you have to fucking
Sorry, our cat's autistic.
yeah. Then you send people out during the night phase to go scavenging, which is always stressful because you don't know what's going to happen throughout while you're scavenging. You can find a whole bunch of stuff, but you can't carry everything. And then you have events that can pop up, which can be good or bad. Or if you fight, you better have a weapon and hope you have a weapon. So what makes this game awesome, though, is they have a book. Like a story, not really a storybook, but like an encounter book that just can pop up, and then it once again, kind of like the Crossroads, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, this game can be very, very dark, just based off the nature. You will see kids starving or other people murdering each other just for what is nothing,
Right.
but it's everything at this time. The characters will, they have their story, and they can have their memories, which just give them even more depth. I just love this. One thing I don't really care for is the fact that I get why they did it. They want people to just pop open the box and play almost immediately, and then learn more as you keep playing. Personally, I don't like that, because it's already a hard enough game as it is. So learning all these extra stuff just by happen to find them in the book, then it's like, oh, great. I wish I had known that my last game. But yeah, there's a lot to this, and I love it.
I just missed out on getting it was a full Kickstarter, with everything for $120 shipped.
You should have
Well, I
grabbed
missed.
that.
I was too late. I was going
Gotcha.
I saw it popped up, went, and somebody did it already.
Damn.
I
Yeah.
did, so.
If you can get a copy of it, man, it's so good. I mean, because they have an expansion. It's like a kids expansion. They do nothing but except they kind of can raise or lower misery.
Mhm.
But you're trying to keep them happy and like coddle them from all the the issues that's happening. Yeah, it gets pretty dark. Obviously, this was a video game before, but I've played a video game and I don't really like it. I think it's way too easy, and it's just like I don't really care about them as much. But I think it's because it's a physical act of the board game that
Right.
you're more into it. But that's my number 8. This War of Mine. What do you got?
Not much. I don't really remember playing it that well because we played it like 2 years ago. Me
Well,
and you
I was
played
like,
it.
well, I've played it more recently.
I played it 2 years ago, so it's kind of just not memorable. But I remember I was like bored but not bored at the same time. Like I think I was just waiting for something to happen constantly,
Gotcha.
story wise. Because some of the stories were good. Like I remember we found like a dog.
Oh
Or we
yeah.
were looking for a dog.
No. Oh yeah, we found a kid who was looking for his dog, and then he,
And then we took from the dog.
we went into a sewer tunnel, or the guy did. We sent him into a sewer tunnel, and then he found we found the dog. Oh, it was like ripped up.
It was dead.
Yeah, it was dead, and then crawling through the sewers, he became sick,
Yeah.
and so.
Go figure. Fucking.
Yeah, that sucked. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. So this War of Mine,
Yep.
number 8.
All right. My number 8. This is the 3rd year in a row it's been in the top 10.
Nice.
And it didn't change any position from last year. It was 8 last year, 8 this year. You guys have both played it.
Fireteam Zero.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say
Zero. Fireteam Zero is still one of my favorite cooperative games because of its difficulty and its theme it has. Because it's a horror action game. It's like an alt reality World War One world.
Yeah.
And it's scenario based. It's not, you don't have to follow. It's not like a campaign necessarily, but what's cool about it is there's these you get these characters. They each have their own special abilities and all that stuff. And when you work your way through these adventures, you'll have a hand of card. Or you have a deck of cards, and your hand is your life. The cards are split diagonally though, where you can use the card either for attack or for it's an action like that, or then there is a reaction part on the bottom that can be helped. Help other people, maybe give them an extra movement, maybe give them whatever. So you go through and you do your stuff. There's 2D movement restrictions, like if you're in a forested area, your movement's slowed.
Oh,
all that
yeah.
stuff. Monsters don't get slowed by that though.
Right.
So
Of course. Why
they are
wouldn't
right
they?
on top of you all the time, and there's spawn points that are out there randomly throughout the whole deal, and so your phase will be heroes do their stuff, then the monsters get to do their stuff. If there's monsters not out there, if there's monsters in this track, you roll a dice, figure out what spawn point they're going to show up on. As you kill more monsters, there's a track that you flip cards and they get a little stronger as you go. All the while you're trying to find items to get done with whatever. Like the very first mission, you're trying to find the parts for the boat to get be able to use the boat to get across the river. Very, very difficult. We managed to scrape by. Well, like, just, Cat showed up.
And we won.
First time.
Yep.
So,
Same with Thanos Rising.
Right,
We
yep,
won with Cat showing up.
but the models are really cool looking. Your characters can evolve as you play because you can upgrade their deck a little bit depending on what level they are. What's cool is they call monster families because like the first 4 missions you deal with this one family, and then if you like I have the Western Europe or the European cycle and the African cycle, which adds another family of monsters, a whole different kind of monsters, and everything. The core box has 3 families of monsters as you work through, just different stuff. Models are wonderful. There's a metal coin that comes with it. That is kind of the issue. There's a deal because what happens is it sits out here, and if somebody gets knocked down, you have to flip that coin.
Right.
And then if somebody else gets knocked down while it's heads down, then the game's over. But there are these event deals as you're searching for stuff. There's one card that pops up and says, "Flip the coin." So if it's already flipped and face down, and then somebody dies the first time, it could be game over.
Yeah.
There's also a card in there that says, "Flip coin face up," if it's face down. So I mean, you can house rule and just take that card out if you want. The game is
Right.
definitely difficult, regardless. But I think the hand management in that game was cool.
Yeah. I liked it.
The cooperation that you guys need to have as a team is very important. You have to kind of stay together, because if you move off, then they're just
Yeah,
gonna butcher you.
you'll get swarmed.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know what else.
I've been debating. It's so expensive though to try and get those.
Yeah, I got mine. I got my core
Yeah.
box for like $30 shipped from a guy
Yeah.
because he was just trying to get rid of it. And
Yep.
And-
So it's super expensive. I wish they would go back on Kickstarter.
they just delivered the second Kickstarter maybe 6 months ago.
Gotcha.
But no, I'm sure they will, because that's the only way
Probably.
they do it is through Kickstarters. They'll
Yeah.
probably come up with another one.
All
I
right.
got Fire Team Zero.
Sweet. That's a good game. I do like it. My number 7 is probably the one that I think will be, unless you've already said it, would be in your top 10, but it might not be.
Is it a new one to the list?
Nope. This one rose from 73. So
Oh,
it rose
crap.
66 spaces. And that is Arkham Horror LCG.
Oh.
Oh.
So
I was
the
like, what the fuck?
yeah,
is
the
that
living card
listening
game.
to me?
Just one, it helps that Fantasy Flight supports this game like no other. So there's this constant stuff coming out for it.
Brad's like, I wouldn't know anything about that.
The living card game, I love this game. It is so thematic. Each scenario is unique, and then each campaign is super fun. Can easily be played solo or 2 players. I think you can play with 4, but it's a 1 or 2 player game, in my opinion. Like right now, the deck building aspect of this just makes you feel. It makes you feel like you're progressing each time that you are going through the scenarios and getting experience points for how well you do. Each campaign or big box is choice based, so like you can actually, how well you do in each scenario will affect the outcome, which will affect you later on. Like I'm doing an ongoing series right now, and I'm rolling Banks, the FBI agent or the Fed, and I'm all combat based, but I am like. All through what's happened throughout the campaign, you get traumas, physical or mental traumas, which are permanent. That once you start a scenario, it's like bam. If you have 3 physical traumas, you start with 3 wounds out of your total. If I have 6 total, my max 6 health, and I start out with 3, then 3 wounds, and I'm knocked out of the campaign. The problem with that is I have good health, but I have no mental, so I have 4 traumas.
Jeez.
And it's like
So you're starting off.
I start off very poor. I'm on the brink of just murdering my companion. Like I said, it's dripping in theme. They make unique scenarios. I love the deck building aspect of this because it's simple. Like you start out with a starting deck,
Right.
and then over time you can be like, okay, I'll take this out and this, and you can get cards based off scenarios. You can put them in. And then the guy I'm playing with, my friend, he is playing Rex Murphy, so he does all the clue base. So can't fight for shit, but I can't find clues for shit. So we make a really good team, and I'm like, man, I really hope I don't go insane because I'm really attached to Roller. I don't want to make another character.
What is your character's name?
Roland Banks.
That's not Roland Chicken.
Eh.
Super positive agent.
So we
Rolling blunt.
Roland Blood. It might help my mental trauma.
Fucking chill out.
But yeah, so right now we're going through the Dunwich campaign, and I have everything for this.
I used to.
Did you sell it all?
Yep. Unplayed.
Yeah,
Aw.
it's and then they just released another big box. I'm running out of space for it all because this is the only game I have that everything is sleeved. And so yeah, I don't know what to do.
We're gonna have to make a Cthulhu room. We'll
We're-
put it under the house.
You need to buy
like-
one of those briefcase things.
That's what it's in.
Oh,
Yeah, but
yeah.
we get another one. You can get
I don't know where to get them.
Hobby Lobby is where the wooden ones are.
Oh,
And then if you go to Broken Token, they actually sell a wooden
Oh,
organizer
great.
that fits inside the
okay,
briefcase. It's made for that.
gotcha. Well,
That's what I did. I can give you that. I can show it to you. if you
Cool.
want.
I will need that because
Except
that.
for Brimstone.
I was like, I don't know where to get this stuff.
Yeah.
but-
Lobby, lobby. Oh, there, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, and like it rose so high because it's just I love playing it. And the games never take long. They take a little bit longer to set up just 'cause you have to find all the cards. But then they just released a return to, I can't remember the first one, but it's basically you can replay the first campaign
Right.
but with new cards, so things
Alright.
are different. And then they just released a Return to Dunwich. So
Return of the Zealot or something.
yeah, that's it. Return to Night of the Zealot.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. I just love that things will change. Like, they could have just done this, your standard deck builder or it's scenario, but you actually have outcomes and choices that will alter which direction you
I
take.
probably should have kept it, but
I think you would like it.
I'm sure I would have. I just had so many Cthulhu things at
Yeah.
the time, and Netrunner was still going at that time,
Oh.
and so
Oh.
it's just like
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I like it better than regular Arkham.
Yeah.
So, that's my number 7.
all right. My number 7 is new to the list.
Okay.
This is the one I thought might be in your top 10.
Still to be determined.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't tell me if it is, but
Okay.
we'll see. Is Folklore of the Affliction.
No, that one was. You can keep going. I'll tell you in a
Okay.
sec. It was 41.
Okay. Folklore of the Affliction is quickly becoming one of my favorite, like, in-depth solo experience games. You were talking about This War Is Mine
Mhm.
and all that stuff. Like, I play this solo.
Gotcha.
And nobody else in my house really gives a damn, but
Yeah.
but it plays so good solo.
Do you control one person?
I
Or do you
control 3.
You control 3.
Yeah. But I mean, I did the full all-in Kickstarter on this, and I know you have everything
I have
now.
everything down.
Yeah. But just so much awesomeness in this game. First thing right off the bat is they don't use the traditional hero classes.
Mm-hmm.
There's new things, and the theme of it, it's based upon European folk tales,
Yeah.
the evils and stuff. So it's got a really dark
Gothic.
gothic storyline and stuff. And right now they have 3 stories out. There's the core box story, there's the Dark Tale story, and then there's the one that you got in the Kickstarter, the
Yeah.
third one, Nightmares and something.
And the good thing I will say about this company is
Greenbrier.
Greenbrier is everything that was on their Kickstarter is on their store,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome because most of the time that's not the
Right.
case. It's like,
It's just
if
you
you
get
didn't
your-
back on Kickstarter,
Right.
fuck you. But
And then here in just a matter of, I think, maybe a week or two, the next story Kickstarter will be happening, which brings, I think, to a different area. which I'm
it looks
hoping-
Arabian.
So I'm assuming there's going to be new
Why
Yeah,
not?
new
map and stuff. I was hoping it was going to be cheaper. Like, I was hoping it was going to be like a story expansion
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, but they can't have that map with being in the desert.
Yeah, if it
So,
is Arabian,
right,
which
right.
is what it kind of looks like.
So anyway, this is. It starts even when you pick your character. When you first start off with, you pick your character and then you automatically make the choice. I'm going to take this branch or this branch.
Mhm.
So it says what kind of a character you're going to be. You can already start going, and then the tech tree goes from there and splits off. So you
Mhm.
can have totally different characters. It's a little fiddly sometimes because
Yeah.
you're doing percentile dice and stuff.
I
It
like
looks-
that percentile.
Right, right. So what's cool about it is you have a world map, which I love, the big huge Kickstarter, big.
It is not needed.
It's
at
not
all.
needed.
Like,
It's just cool just to have
see,
that.
the only thing on that is the little wooden piece.
Yeah, I've used my miniature
Oh, that works.
just to.
I guess
when I
it's
play
only you
solo,
playing. Yeah.
But anyway, so you travel the world map, and as you go, especially with this Kickstarter, you got this big metal coin that has a day and a night side. So every time your turn gets done moving, you have to draw a road event and look at the day or the night, depending on what it is. And good or bad stuff's going to take place.
Mainly bad.
If it's bad and you get a skirmish event, you don't have to put out any miniatures. It's just a simple dice roll skirmish
Yep.
battle. What's cool though is if you actually get an encounter where you may go off road, which are bad. But if you go, you may get an encounter where you actually have to set up. If you think Final Fantasy, when you have an encounter in the old Final Fantasy, it would like zoom in and then it would have the big battle area.
Yeah.
That's what happens in this game. It
Yeah.
tells you what tile to set down, it tells you where to set stuff up, and then you do an actual tactical battle. You know, you move around, fight, do whatever. It's pure co-op.
It is hard.
It's hard. It's difficult.
Hey, so wait, I'm sorry, I missed this. Did you go off map?
I have.
Or did you go
before.
off
Have you gone?
road?
I do
Off-road?
sometimes.
Off-road. For
Jesus.
our first off-road, it was like, you find a cave, because normally you have a choice.
Right, right.
It was like, there's no choice here. You go into the cave, and there's a werewolf and a vampire in there. And I'm like, first of all, why are they both in there? Second of all, we are screwed. But it's funny, because you roll the skirmish to determine how many there are.
Right.
My friend has terrible luck die rolling. I'm like, Devin, I want you to roll. He rolls a 1. And I'm like, great, roll again. He rolled another 1, so we only had to fight 1 of each. But man, is it
It
brutal.
was tough.
We still came out like,
I know, and it's
We're never going off the road
and
again.
it's crazy because the stories are well written. I
Yeah.
believe. And it's very difficult. I mean, which it should be. It's a co-op game.
Yep. I like the choice base you
um,
can have.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you go to town, that's another cool thing they put into this is you can do this stuff in town, but then each character has their very own things they can do in town that nobody else can do. It's just, I don't know. It's very
probably
thematic, very well. Like this just Gloomhaven just is gone because I didn't like Gloomhaven, the hand management part of Gloomhaven as it was. But then after I played this game, like Gloomhaven doesn't exist now in my eyes.
Yeah.
Just because this is my story-driven game, it's simpler combat to
Also-
resolve and stuff.
It is not simpler than Gloomhaven.
The hand management part, you remember?
I'm like,
I
the
hate
combat,
hand
the
management.
combat is way more complex.
Well,
than
but
this.
this is the kind that fits my
Yeah.
brain better.
Gotcha.
The hand management part
I'm
is
like,
the reason I hate Gloomhaven.
because like the reason why, actually one of the reasons why folklore combat is so difficult is just dice.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed.
Right.
Oh, I missed. Oh, great, he killed me because nothing I did. There's nothing I could do.
Right.
I love folklore, don't get me wrong. It's going to go up from 41 just because I do like most everything about it. The only thing that I don't really care for, because you have not just encounters, you also have the adventures where it's just like, hey, go from here to here. Why? Like you're sitting there spending 20 minutes going, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
Right.
4.
But that's how you gain your experience too.
Not from
because-
walking.
Yeah, but you have to do road events constantly. So you,
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about in the adventure maps where it's
Oh,
just, there's
gotcha.
really like one search thing
Gotcha.
to go do. It's like can't you? That should have just been a card, like because it makes you walk from place to place, and you're like, okay, I guess that was that. The other thing I don't really care for is I don't like how each story is just its own thing.
Right.
Like, I wish it was a more sprawling campaign versus just, okay, this thing, you're going to have one chapter, and then the final chapter is going to be the affliction part. I mean, I don't hate it. I just wish there was a more overarching story in this. Those are pretty much my two biggest complaints. I mean, dice are dice.
My complaint is that, because I'm painting the minis right now, and it's really fun, but, dear God, if you try to paint their faces, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, once you start painting minis, you realize kind of how shitty some minis really are.
Quality becomes a bigger deal, but so all of our people so far, there's only 2, they're just pale, faceless people because that's better than the...
Than the derpy faces that you've been...
That's another thing I like about the minis on this, what quality aside or whatever, is if it says you're gonna fight whatever in an archmage or whatever, like the bottom of every mini has the name.
That
of,
is
the
awesome.
name of everything on it.
That is so nice.
So you're not having to like look.
You're like,
is
okay, I
this what that
think
is that a
this is it?
vampire? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. You flip
Right.
on the bottom and it says
Right.
it.
And on their things, it shows what it looks like. But yeah, that
Yeah.
should be something everything does.
Right.
It's just like, oh, there it is.
Right. So I mean, this one, is
Or-
probably going to be locked in my 10, whether it stays there or goes up.
Yeah.
down,
See, they had a
whatever, it's-
genius method with the naming of the minis on the bottom, but then their health and PowerPoint track is the most dumbass
Yeah,
way.
but you did you not buy those?
I
off the
did. You
site?
shouldn't have to buy those.
That's why I didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Oh,
but
really?
why would they be like, hey, here's a stretch goal? It's like, you dumb fuckers, you shouldn't have had a tracker on the side like an
Well, that's how the
ignorant
first edition
moron.
was.
Really?
God.
First edition was that the arrow tracker.
We've
thing.
had-
If you don't have those rollers, either buy them or
Just
literally
tally off the.
keep it on a piece of paper.
Well, and somebody used if you watch, there's a playthrough that somebody did on YouTube
Mhm.
where they use dice to track, like they put
You
dice
have
on
dice all over the place. 'Cause
Well,
like,
no, just dice like on top of like the werewolf. Let's say, and he has 18 hit points. They would
Gotcha.
take it down from.
yeah.
We've
The
had
problem
a
with
few
that is it's
times.
like, yeah, okay, well, one of them, they start out with like 40 health, so it's like, okay, I have four
Yeah.
D10s all over the place. The other thing is kind of fiddly. It's really more with the combat aspect, like besides the health, is if there's 3 wolves, like in Imperial Assault, you put a number, like sticker
Mhm.
on, so you're like, okay, that's number 1, 2, and 3. In this one, it's just like you have to have the tracker on the left, and you have to be like, okay, guys, everyone remember this one's the left one, because if he moves over here, then crap, that one could be the right. It's just like,
He can
it's
lose
a
track.
it's a nightmare
Yeah.
of just trying to keep track of enemies.
Yeah.
But other than that, love everything else about the game.
Yeah. But like I said, it'll be a top 10 one for sure. And then with this next storyline that's coming, I haven't touched. I've done the first overall story. I'm about halfway through the second one.
Nice.
I haven't touched the third one, obviously, and I haven't even touched the custom creator because that creator
Yeah, you can create your own thing.
was in there, but we'll see how it shakes out.
All right. My number 6 is probably going to be a bigger deal than it seems to be. Fell from number 2. So it only fell 4 spaces, but it is Talisman.
Ooh.
Talisman was my number 1 forever.
Yeah.
Finally was replaced last year to go to number 2. And just other games, I'm like, look, I haven't played Talisman, and I don't know how. Actually, technically, I played it at Gen Con with 4 random people. So it's a 6-player game, and I was like, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Because they were all new, so they had no idea like how they just kept wandering around the outer rim,
Go in.
and I'm like, you guys need to advance.
Get the talent.
So, Talisman is kind of like the epitome of fantasy to me. It was definitely always in a special place in my heart because it was my very first game that got me into the hobby. And I know Talisman isn't like everyone's favorite game, but I just think like there's no choices here. It's just stuff you roll dice and you see what happens. But like I love the aspect of because there's a bunch of different characters in that one too, unorthodox
Right.
characters with their own special ability that makes you feel unique. And then as you progress, you get all these cool items that you find through the massive adventure deck that make you yourself. You have all these followers, so you just and everything's fantastical. Fits fantasy to a T that I love. I love the different expansions, the dungeons, the woodlands, highlands, and city. All of them feel unique and different. The dragons are even cool. So it does, for me, it has a bunch of theme to it. Because like places will stay there, so you can go in and you know, deal with the places. There's some cutthroat aspect, 'cause you can attack each other. I love the spell deck is huge with a huge variety of different spells. I love the alternative endings where they can be revealed to where you kind of have a goal at the beginning, or they can be hidden. So once someone gets to the middle, then you reveal it, and now that's what's happening. It's just it takes forever to set up, and it takes a while to play. But like I can't imagine this game not staying in my top 10. I don't think my nostalgia will allow it
Right.
to jump any further than at least 10. But I don't know. It just I love it, and it was the first game you and I played
Yep.
together.
Yep. I remember when we didn't have all the expansions.
Oh yeah, then I have everything for this game.
preferred Relic.
Really.
I remember playing Relic.
We played Relic together too. Relic was fine. I just don't like Warhammer 40k.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into the theme. This one is literally just fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I've done a how to play with all the expansions, I've done my top 10 Talisman expansions, and someone requested that I do a top 10 reasons why I love Talisman. So I've done a lot of coverage on Talisman. I under what?
I had a joke about it.
And
Because I like Monopoly.
I love my number one reason I love Monopoly. The only thing about that this has like is you just roll and you go around the edge. Like that's the only thing it has with Monopoly. But with the expansions, you can like each expansion feels different.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Talisman game that's coming out?
No.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah.
Kingdom
I
Hearts
did see a
Talisman,
picture
and
of
I
it.
was like, look how they massacred my boy.
Oh my
that
god!
Because fuck Kingdom Hearts and everything it is.
I played the Talisman app
Yeah,
on
I
the
hate the
iPad
app.
a little bit just
Yeah.
to see if, and it was boring.
Yeah, I do not like the app. There's no choices to it. I mean, there's not really a whole lot, but like the people that you play it with and what happens to them. Like I just love the randomness of it.
Right.
So yeah, they're making Kingdom Hearts Talisman only because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. So the board game's probably gonna make no sense. The rulebook's gonna be all over the place and no one's gonna know what's going on, just like in Kingdom Hearts.
I've never messed with Kingdom Hearts.
Fucking like gameplay's
I know
fine.
what
That
it is.
story is absolute convoluted, lazy ship writing. Fight me. But that's my number 6, Talisman. Anything on that?
Ah! Everybody knows Talisman's the worst game in the world.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right.
My number 6.
I expect this to be in your top 10 too.
My number 6 was number 4.
Okay.
It will always be in my top 10 though. You've said it before. I go a long way.
Oh, I was like, already?
Oh,
Oh, well, I'm not gonna. Is it
yeah.
Stronghold?
I'm pretty sure it was on your list. Marvel Legendary.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
on my list. It was probably higher up.
Anyway, Marvel Legendary. I have every card released for this game.
They're about to release another expansion,
Yeah, the Venom
the
one.
Venom.
Yeah, I'm ready
That's
for it.
pretty neat.
I just got the Ant-Man one not very long
Did
ago.
you get it? Have you played
Yeah.
it yet?
Not yet. I haven't sleeved it up yet, but this game, I love deck builders, as I've said many times before. This one throws the Marvel license on it, and this is my favorite deck builder.
Okay.
Because of just the unlimited craziness of stuff. I mean, I have 4 or 5 boxes completely packed of sleeved cards. Infinite number of heroes.
If people in there, then I'm like,
Well,
who?
just wait until you open up the Secret Wars. Because those are real. Those are like wacky. Like,
Really?
Like Thor riding a T-Rex as a
Oh,
character and
gotcha.
stuff or something. It's like, anyway, but what's cool about this game is you pick your 5 heroes that you want in your deck. You pick your mastermind, and then that kind of helps you set up what enemy creatures are going to be out there. But what's cool is the scheme. There's a stack. God. There's got to be a stack, and mine are sleeved, but probably from the table about right here of schemes, just different ways to play the game.
Yep.
And
Have you done the Thanos one?
no, I'm not. I haven't gotten brave enough to try that one yet. But anyway,
We would have done okay had we not had Spider-Man in our group. Like, god damn it!
but
He's just such a hero.
So fucking useless.
it is just ridiculously fun. I mean, you can just there's a randomizer app too. That you
Okay.
you just say like, okay, there's 3 people playing, do this, and it'll tell you your mastermind, everything to set up, what scheme to use,
might have
and
to
all
get
your
that.
heroes.
That's cool.
And yeah, it may hose you. It does hose you, just because there's some heroes that you just don't want to work together.
Right.
You don't want 2 heroes that are just draw a card. People like you don't want the early Spider-Man
Yeah, so
and somebody else that draws cards. I can't think. Right
we
now,
did it for the channel after Stan Lee's death,
but,
which is still depressing. Dude, I don't think it's on here. I thought I said it.
I was thinking you did too, but
Maybe I hadn't played it by the time I know I did. Well, I missed one. Whoops. But we had Hulkbuster Iron Man.
Mhm.
We had Planet Hulk. Hulk.
Mhm.
Vision, Thor, and then Spider-Man. Because I let my friend like pick some of them. Because I'm like, well, who are your favorite? Yeah, we would have done okay, but Spider-Man did nothing, and Thanos sucked. God.
Yeah.
Pretty appropriate. Spider-Man didn't do anything.
Yes.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. I'm gonna shit myself.
But
Peter, what?
but anyway, so just because the infinite number of possibilities, because it can be played solo, awesome. The only bad things about this game is the teardown of it, is getting
Yeah.
everything sorted back out.
I would probably
back
say
in the
that
box.
it's not 100% thematic. You can. I mean, the schemes help
Yeah.
definitely, but like sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't make a
It's
whole lot
better
of
than
sense.
the DC deck builder,
Yeah, the way you explained that to me.
because when you beat the bad guys, they go into your deck.
Well, that's depressing that
Um,
Marvel Legendary isn't on here.
So the one thing that I don't know if you've done this or not, but there's a guy on BGG in the files section that
Yes, I have
has
print-
vertical or horizontal dividers.
Yes.
I printed them off on cardstock. I've cut them all out. It has the symbols
Yep.
on it so that you can
Yep.
look. If you
And
like.
he actually keeps it up to date.
Yeah. So,
So
that's
this
what I
guy's
do. That's
awesome.
what I do on my teacher in service day. So
Nice.
that's what I'm getting ready to do Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
watches
he's-
this hopefully.
Yeah,
He's
right.
awesome. So
But yeah, Marvel Legendary will always be up here just because it's my favorite deck builder.
if it wasn't in my top 100, it will be. Like,
Well,
it's
spoilers for next year.
I know, right?
Because the first time you played it was at my house.
yeah, because I mean you had everything, and I was like, I
Right.
really want to try that because at that point I only did Tyrants and Aeon's
Right.
End for deck builders, so those
Right.
were really thematic,
Mhm.
and I really wanted to try a traditional one. Yeah, it's awesome. The Venom one's gonna be cool. The Hulk, World War Hulk is awesome. Like, cause
The
it takes
keyboard is
transformation.
awesome.
They're still, I mean, yeah, they're still coming up with cool ideas. Yeah, the Secret Wars, I don't know shit about. I don't know anything about any.
There is a strand of comic books, and
Jesus
I don't know.
Christ! Here's my other drink.
But it is it's really loony.
It's loony.
No, it is really like
Is
you'll
it?
see it's completely nuts when you get in there.
Gotcha.
The other thing, you have Civil War, don't you? The box Civil War,
I think so.
where it has some of the heroes are like split
Oh, they're
cards.
split. Yeah.
That's awesome. The split cards effect is cool because you can choose which one you want
Yeah.
to use.
Yeah, because there was some in there. And I'm like, who the hell is Jaguar Woman or whatever? I'm like,
Jaguar.
I don't know any of these people.
You'll laugh when you open up those because there's
Okay.
some weird.
I got those in the trade. I think those were sleeved.
It's
But
weird.
they need to come with a big
variations.
box
Yeah.
for Marvel Legendary. That'd
Well,
be
because the villains box.
Uh huh.
Because that's out of print. Like it sells for big money.
Really?
The villains deal, but you can be the villains and use them as heroes.
Oh,
with the
yeah,
good
that's
guys.
right.
So I can have Magneto playing with Wolverine and those guys taking on stuff. you
I
know.
see we've settled our differences.
But the bad guys in the villain set is like Professor X, Iron Man.
Well, there's one. I think in the
You know.
Civil War, one of the schemes are the Illuminati or whatever.
Right, something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just nuts because you can mix all
I
that,
don't think it's Illuminati.
and
Oh,
you can
yeah.
even mix those with legendary encounters, Alien,
Oh, yeah.
Firefly, Predator. You could have Hulk in there fighting aliens for
Oh
the
my
deal if you wanted to.
gosh.
I've never done that, but
So that'd be insane because the alien race, they take on like the DNA of whatever they host.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a facehugger ripping out of Hulk? Do you think they could kill Hulk?
I doubt it. But anyway, it's just one of those games. It's always going to be there
Yeah.
because I love deck building. It's my favorite deck building.
Hot.
The face
Hot,
huggers don't
hot.
rip out of anybody. They're chest bursters, by the way.
Shut up.
That is true. You suck. Learn your lore.
Get out of this house. I'll finish your list.
Shut up. Your favorite alien movie is number 4.
Yeah, it is. Winona!
That's not true.
Oh.
Alien Resurrection. My number 5 is new to the list. This is the other one I think that will be in your top 10 if you haven't already said it, and that is
Yahtzee.
and it's Yahtzee. It's Spirit Island.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
No, I think that was way down my list because I had only played it a couple
That's
times.
yeah.
I'll look while you're talking.
Spirit Island is an amazing cooperative game, probably out of
47.
47. Okay.
It will definitely go higher.
Yeah. So out of all of the cooperative games that I have, this one is probably. It's not my favorite. Spoilers. There's co-ops coming up still, but this one still probably utilizes teamwork more than anything else. like I understand co-op is by the nature you have to work together, but this one there is so much collusion between everyone's island power that if you don't, because you're not going to be the hero. You're not going to be that one spirit that's fucking doing everything because you can't.
Yeah.
You need everyone else to do everything. But the theme behind Spirit Island is also unique. That makes me love it. Is that you are actually the island. The islands. You're the island. Yeah, I guess you kind of are. You're the spirits on this island. Surprise. Defending it from invaders that are coming just to live their life peacefully. But they're kind of tainting the land, blighting it, and just making it all shitty. So you are essentially trying to envelop fear in them that they leave through a variety of ways. It could be that you play a card that causes them to be so scared that they run and drown themselves in the river. Like that's kind of cards you make, like the shadow that flickers like flame. It's like, hey, I'm going to play this card that thematically makes them so scared they run off. And and you as the river spirit play this card after me, which then kills all these people. So thematically, they ran away and then you drown them. There's just a bunch of, like every spirit's unique. Some of them are more complex than others. Like, my favorite one to play is the shadows that flicker like flame because they are so much fear-inducing. Who do you play? Did you play the...
I was the vine...
Were you the tree guy? The end guy? Okay, that's what I thought. So, he was absolutely unique. I can't remember who you were the time we all played together.
She was the,
It wasn't Earth, was it?
No, there is an Earth guy.
I can't remember.
I can't remember who you were. But it's very card-based, and you're getting these these tokens to be able to spend to play your cards. And what makes this unique is that your powers have like a trigger. They can either go fast or they can go slow, which is very important to understand because your fast powers will go, then the invaders will go on their turn, and then they go off of like a program track, or, oh, they're going to attack the land in this region, which will kill the native people, the Dahan is what they're called. And then they could damage the land. Then they'll build here, and then they'll explore. So you're trying to just kill them and destroy their buildings, and then they'll explore, which means they just spread out more. But then after they go, then your slow powers will go. So it's like if you're trying to do all the stuff, you could easily see what they will do, which is what I love. You know for a fact that they're going to go, what they're going to attack, where they're going to build, and you're like, okay, we can... This is where they're going to attack. We need to focus this area. Do we have any abilities that can touch that? And you try to spread because you have discs. Component quality is very eh. It's actually really poor. I wish that the island looked better.
Yeah,
it's easy to see. Like, you know exactly what a water area is. So I like that simplicity of it. But, I mean, because the artwork on the cards and on the spirits is amazing. And I know there's a more advanced side on the reverse, which makes it more terrain-esque, but it's like very difficult. That's like a expert variant. Then they have... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we had this discussion a couple of top 10s ago about Terraforming Mars.
Oh, yeah.
The gameplay in Terraforming Mars outplays the component
absolutely.
quality, and that's the same version with this.
Yeah.
The game of this is so good that...
Yeah,
I mean,
that you kind of oversee it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I don't really care. Because, like, your presence on the board is literally just colored discs.
Yeah.
But the theme of your powers and the cohesion of everyone working together just kind of, like, makes you overlook that. At least it does for me.
Because that's the reason I never did play it for the longest time. I didn't even try buying it. Because I'd look at pictures when I'd see somebody trying to sell it online. I'm like, really? It's like little discs and stuff, and the map's kind of
right.
And then when we played it, it's like, oh, this is
fucking awesome. So they just finished their Kickstarter, which I did get.
I did too. I just did
I did everything for it. So that's gonna it's gonna add so much more.
Jagged Earth, I think.
Yeah, Jagged Earth, as a big box and with a wooden insert, so that's gonna be nice. But yeah, I absolutely love this game. They have even more. They have a lot of like advanced stuff that you can do, which is one of the reasons why I liked Rise of Tribes, because it had advanced stuff that you could slowly add in. But like, because right now the base game, the people are just people. They're just there and they do their thing. But you can actually make them be like some providence or say, hey, these are the people of Spain.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they have rules and they have their own things, so you can even make it even more thematic. But it's kind of dark once you think about it, because you get in the mindset of the spirits, and you're like, yeah, fuck these guys. But then you really think, oh, they're just trying to, live their life, have their kids, and then you murdered their family, and now that's why they're
Now
afraid.
you know what Hitler feels like.
Yeah, you're kind of like, oh man, these guys are just trying to do their thing. Because if you were playing the heroes, you'd be like, fuck these spirits. But yeah, what do you got? Cool.
Yep.
Why the fuck are you here?
All right, my number 5 you've already said, not in this top 10.
Damn.
Embarrassing.
I got it.
It's new to the list.
It is role player.
Yep.
Man,
Role
I'm
player.
good.
Number 5.
Wow.
We're looking at his phone play.
Oh,
This, this game really jumped up for me. I love the base game. Got the expansion. Really fell in love with it. I'm not much of a role-playing game person.
Mhm.
I've created characters before because that was the fun part. Because I've
Yeah.
never actually played a role-playing game session, but I've prepared for them many times, and then
And they always
never
fall
came
through, yeah.
So I've created characters like that, and that was always fun for me. But with this one, being able to, the challenge of measuring the where you put the dice with the power that you're going to use, trying to get the numbers to match up with the colors to match up, to get your attributes
Mhm.
to where they're supposed to be, and then the cool, when you move around. I can't remember what that thing is when you're moving the little cube. What was that called?
Alignment.
Alignment. It's cool because when you move that alignment, you're even worried about what cards you're buying for
Mhm.
that. But then that changes because I like how they have the words on the alignment that says
Right. Oh,
your changes. It's like adjectives for
Mhm.
your character more. And then you can decide to just go all in on. Well, like Chad that one time went and he had a Hobbit character, and he had gotten all the bad trait.
Oh, really?
He was like a lazy, just, unreliable, all
Yeah.
this different stuff. It's just funny stuff like that. But it's also neat because the character boards are double-sided, so you can go male, female, for the most on either one.
The dwarf. The
Yeah.
dwarf female looks like a freaking Navajo.
Or some of them, I got
Sure,
some of them, like the promos. I like that the Minotaur and the
Mhm.
they're both just different kinds of.
Yeah.
Because they don't differentiate, I guess, or they're males, females look the same.
Right. I
whatever.
don't know.
But anyway, but they make each race a little different by saying this one's a -2 in strength.
Oh, right.
Or plus, so they kind of make them different
Yeah.
as far as that goes. Looking forward to the Friends and Familiars. Not sure exactly what that's going to do.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the adventuring one.
and then the
whatever
adventures
that's
will
gonna do.
be what
Really
it
cool.
is.
Yeah,
I hope they take their time and get it right.
Yeah.
So I just assume not rush it out.
I'm still tempted to see if you can play this game and take it over to a D&D campaign.
You'd have to have some sort of a way of, like, an 18 in this equals something.
Well, you always get an 18. Well, it depends on the DM.
Right.
Most of my DMs always at least allow one 18.
Right.
But you could also roll 3 6s every time and have 18 and everything. You're not gonna, but you could. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ever do that much, but
Right.
but like this game, I play solo a ton. It's one of the solo type games where you build your character, you add up your points, and then there's like a chart that says if you get
Yeah,
from this to
that's
this, then you're
Mm-hmm.
whatever kind of character and stuff. But it's just great. I mean, anything that comes for this is going to be something I nab, and then it doesn't hurt when you have the wooden organizer and the metal coins
That
and
does help.
the playmat and all that cool stuff. Yeah, playmat's just $20 on Thunderworks website,
That would
and
probably
shipping's
help.
like $5. It's
Sweet.
like $25 to get it.
Neat.
So it's sweet though,
Mhm.
because you just lay it all out. I don't own it.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been hesitant because with the familiars coming out.
Yeah, I'll probably
I'm
be
like,
on there.
so is it going to be a different?
Oh,
the
that's a good
playmat going to
point,
be different?
yeah.
So I've been like, just kind of waiting.
That's a good point. I'll probably wait too.
I've had it in my cart many a times, and I keep waiting
Yeah.
just to see. But anyway, role player, I know I have a lot higher than. I mean, yours
Mine
was-
was still pretty close.
Yeah, yours was
though.
good. Yours was in the
26.
20s, right?
Yeah.
I just this just beats the snot out of Sagrada for me. Even though they're very similar, I just like this one better because of the theme of it and everything.
Cool. All right, my number 4 fell from number 3, so this is my favorite Cthulhu game.
Arkham.
No, Arkham Horror was number 33. So
Eldritch?
Eldritch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eldritch Horror is my favorite. We had this in a discussion. You liked Arkham 3rd Edition over Eldritch, right?
This is correct, yeah.
So Eldritch Horror, I mean, at this point, it's pretty bloated, but I think they're done with expansions for Eldritch Horror. I think they're
Since Arkham.
since 3rd Edition
They're
came
gonna
out,
start-
they're just gonna start pumping.
They're gonna start coming.
Yeah,
concentrating on
it's Fantasy
Arkham.
Flight. They only have 3 things they can do: Star Wars, freaking Cthulhu, and that's pretty much it. They only got those 2.
Can
Oh,
I
and
pick
Keyforge now.
Can I pick up Mass Effect, please?
No, no.
BioWare rude.
the board game company Fantasy Flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
sure.
they can pick up Star Wars.
Well, they make Star Wars board games. Anyway, Eldritch Horror is, to me, the best Cthulhu game out there. The card game might surpass it, but as of right now, Eldritch is still really, really good. I love that that open world, like epic, like I used to not like the world aspect. I liked the fact that you were only in Arkham, but now that I think about it, like the changes in the stuff that you do throughout the game make it feel more impactful. You're like, we're saving the world here by flying over to, or not flying, I guess, by taking the train over to Shanghai to stop something that's happening in there. We just feel more like heroes. I really like the Prelude cards that will change kind of setup a little bit. I love how the Ancient One has their own unique deck and unique clues about that Ancient One versus just random stuff that's just kind of going on. Like it all ties and centers around whatever Ancient One you actually have available. Just the sheer amount of characters that are out, the sheer amount of Ancient Ones that exist. There's just, like, and I know Chad has done like an 8-player game of this, which is insane.
Stupid.
But
Chad's a moron.
I do not recommend.
I would love to do that just because that would be awesome.
Well, we've done Arkham Horror with.
Oh, that's what I was gonna
We've
say.
done
Of course,
Arkham, yeah.
you know, we can't make fun of the 8-player Eldritch
Yeah.
when you play.
I played every Arkham Horror expansion and we had 6 people for that. But Eldritch Horror, it is more streamlined. You know, with this, like the clues go to specific spots that you can go to. Your attributes are all right there. They don't change like on a weird sliding scale. Like, hey, I'm all of a sudden smarter now. It's like, what? You are who you are. And like the monsters aren't always a problem. Like they're there and they probably will be a problem. But you also, and so you can go deal with those at your leisure. The expansion, well, there's one, oh, the Dreamland expansion is really good, where it adds a sideboard, and whenever you actually take a rest action, then you can transfer to this dream area and have certain specific scenarios over there. I've always loved that location scenario deck. Like, hey, if you're in the purple spot and you draw a purple card and then it tells you wherever you're at, that's where you have that scenario. It just adds way more replayability. But at this point, I think Eldritch is done. Arkham's 3rd edition is really cool though because it has the scenarios to it and does a little bit what the Fallout board game did. But I don't know. Eldritch just it's always epic and it's very, very thematic. Like when I said War of the Ring was Lord of the Rings in a box, Eldritch Horror just has all that Cthulhu stuff in there. Just on a grander scale, whereas the card game is very localized based on that scenario. So Eldritch is just fantastic to me. So it's my number 4.
Yep. I mean, I don't like it as much as Art. I don't know why. I just don't.
Is it because you're a poopy head?
Yeah, duty face.
Yeah, you suck.
Classic.
I don't like. I need to try the Arkham, but I've never.
The
played,
3rd
I've never
edition.
played Eldritch, and I've only played Arkham once, and that was the 2nd edition,
Yeah.
or maybe 1st.
It was probably second.
Whatever. It's been 15 years ago that I played Arkham, so
So
that might have been.
well, seven. Or the first or the second edition came out in 2007.
This would have been before then.
Then it was okay. Then it would have been
First
Arkham
edition.
First Edition.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eldritch is awesome. My number 4.
All right. My number 4 you have played.
Ooh.
It was 11.
Oh, a rose for you.
Yeah, it went up
Okay.
from 11 to 4. You didn't like it, but you haven't played it with more than 2 people, and that's what I kept telling you.
Oh,
need to play
Champions
it.
of Midgard.
Yes, the best Viking game in my opinion. Champions of Midgard with at least 3 players. This is at least 3. This is a Viking worker placement dice worker placement / dice allocation, all this good stuff. And as good as the base game was, it would still be in my top 10 if there wasn't those expansions, but it cements them even more because of the Valhalla and the Mountains expansion. But pretty much you are placing your workers, gaining dice, which your dice are your worker or your fighters, and then you use those to fight bad guys, whether it is, or you can use them to go hunting.
Yeah.
So either you can go hunting with them, you can go to fight the trolls, you can go sail overseas and fight the big monsters where all the big XP is. What the Valhalla expansion does is what makes it so good is as you lose warriors in battles and stuff, you get these little tokens that and you set them aside that actually act as that, and once you have a certain number of those, they trade in. You can get back work deals like that. So it makes it to where like when you go and if you colossally roll bad and you lose a bunch of people, then you'll be able to get them back.
Oh, that's neat.
Eventually, instead it was
Okay.
kind of this game I've played tons and tons and tons of times. It's my favorite dice. It's my favorite worker placement game. Yeah, worker placement. Yeah. I don't know. It's just it has the randomness of the dice, but I just don't know. There's ways. I've never had it flop for me with anybody that I've ever played it with. I know that you had an issue when you were playing 2-player about the troll deal. That isn't as big of a deal the more players that you play on. Just because there's so much more stuff you have to worry about.
Right,
And there's more than just
right.
2 people.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than that, one of the other expansion adds green dice.
Okay.
For the mountains, it adds more troll. It adds bigger, stronger trolls up there too. But these are hunter dice, so they help you with your hunting for food and all that good stuff.
Okay.
I have the big Kickstarter box that holds all the expansions and all that jazz and everything.
Neat.
I need to get the big playmat. I don't have the playmat, but yeah, it's you try it again.
I want to. You just
Yeah.
never bring it.
I know.
So
I know.
how can I try it?
It's a wonderful game. Like I said, it's my favorite Viking game.
Awesome. My number 3 in the top 3 is new to the list and is a phenomenal game. I was actually torn between where the place is between 2 and 3, but my number 3 is Seventh Continent. You don't care for Seventh Continent?
I can't say your name because I don't play this.
Seventh Continent is the ultimate survivor game. Like I said, pretty much all of these are just dripping in theme. Where the first curse that you have to deal with, or that I guess you can choose to deal with, is you left this island and then you're having like nightmares and stuff, and then about like what was happening, and then so you go back and you're trying to figure out what is going on and how to absolve the curse. Pretty much, you want to talk about open sandbox board games, this is probably almost like at the top of the list, because like there's not really a whole lot of structure to it, which is what I think you didn't like. It's pretty much anyone can go whenever, like,
And do whatever.
and pretty much do whatever. So what you're seeing on the cards, it's very card driven. There's thousands of cards. I'm still waiting on my oh man, the white box. I can't remember what they called it. What goes up,
Yeah,
what goes up.
Yeah.
Which just adds thousands of more cards. Like I went. That was the first Kickstarter that I went all in for, which cost a lot of money. But whenever you look at the tile, you can see, okay, well, these are these are numbers, so there's like a camp there that has a number next to it. It's like, okay, well, I'll see what's at the camp. And then you find the card, and then you just deal with it. And it's like, oh, you can take a rest here and heal yourself if you want to. But then there's like fog around the cards, so then you have an encounter to get to the next tile, and then you just explore, and then you try to survive. And we actually died because like we never hunted and we never got food, so it's like, wow, it's
Turns out you need to eat.
So is that what happens? So like you said, you had the camp.
Yep.
And there was fog. Does it have like a card number?
Yes.
So then you just choose which direction to go, and
Yep.
there's another encounter, and it'll have more
So
numbers
you'll have
on the outside.
so you'll have like something that happens on the way there, and then you put that card up, and then you actually put the real card, which attaches to, we're talking about like Imperial Settlers, how so it all connects and it makes this world,
Right.
and then that's a new place you can go to.
Right. So what happens when you die?
So when you die, there's a couple things. When you die, you would start all over.
Like the very first.
Yeah, that'd be kind of how that works. But what we just did, and this is actually the easy variant, is you just continue. Like there's a card that you actually start with, depending on if you do the easy difficulty, that allows you to just continue, or you can just continue.
Because it's your game and you paid for it.
Because it kind of does the time stories thing where, you know how in time stories, if every time you go back,
And
like
finally the last was just like just keep playing until you.
well, that's what I do, but like
Until you
the theme is supposed to be you're supposed to learn from your mistakes,
Mhm.
and then in time stories oh, we don't need to go to this side because there's nothing there. We already did that, so now each time you go back, it becomes quicker and quicker. But when you die, the important stuff that you found stays with you.
Oh, okay.
So you don't fully just restart the whole game. You just start over on the map. Seventh Continent also has a save system that is very simple. Like it's all organized, and then it's just like, bam, here we are. And then, oh, here's my stuff. And then they also have unique characters, like H.P. Lovecraft is a character that you can play as, and he has his own unique ability. Every character has specific cards that go in this deck.
Right.
So the deck, how that works is that's where a lot of how you test your successes. There's no dice in this game. It's like, okay, we need to get 3 stars. How many cards, you choose how much effort you want to put into. So it's like, okay, let's draw 6. And in the rule book, it tells you your percent of getting.
Mhm.
So if you draw 6 cards and you need 3 stars, you have a 75% chance of getting it. So you draw those cards, and then, oh, hey, there's a full star, and some of them will have half stars that can connect, so there's another full star. Yeah, we got all 3, we succeeded. Then you do whatever it says on success, or if you fail, whatever it says if you fail. But that is essentially your, kind of like your stamina and your mental capacity and everything of surviving on this island. So once that deck runs out, then what you do is you shuffle it all together, because there's curse cards throughout that whole thing. If you draw them before it runs out, then nothing happens. They're just there. But if next time you draw a curse card, once you reshuffle it, and you pull randomly from it, you don't do the top anymore, then you lose. So what eating does, that we found out, was it takes cards from your discard pile and puts them back into the main deck, because it's your stamina and you're replenishing yourself. But I just love the exploration of this game. I love the detective work that you kind of have to do. I love the crafting system, because you can only hold a certain amount of items and cards in your hand, so you can craft and you can just add more. Like you can add like a stick to a net, and then now you have both of their abilities, and then their durability will go up, which are tracked on this dice. So it I love it. I love this exploration. I love just the sheer replayability. Because what's also really cool is there are some numbers that have multiple cards. So it's like, oh, this one's 110. If you go back there, you could have a completely different card with new stuff. There's hidden numbers. So if you're like inspecting a card, you're like, oh, there's a 20 here. Then you can pull the 20, and then it's something probably beneficial for you. Items help you in exploration. Like I had a torch that whenever I went into a cave, it was like if I had that torch symbol, then it added the number to a card that I found. So normally I would pull card 15, but since I had the torch, it adds 10 to that, so I pulled card 25, and now that's better because the torch helped me. So I love the free nature of this game. Also works fantastic solo because of the freedom of it. You're not really restricted on turn orders.
That's why I was asking, because I've considered getting it at times. I almost did the Kickstarter that time, but I had other stuff I was doing. But
yeah, I mean, I think you would love it. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. But yeah, that's Seventh Continent. I can't wait for my stuff. Should be showing up relatively soon. But you didn't like it, I don't think.
No, the reason I didn't like it is just because we played, it was Seth, Devin, and me, and like if you don't just actively take initiative and be like, I'm gonna do this, you can just get overlooked because it is easier for other people to be like, oh well, we'll go
I'll
here,
go there.
And you're just kind of like, I don't like, it's too free.
I think that's why it fits more for solo.
Yeah, for solo or two.
Because I was always just kind of left like
Yeah, so what we ended up doing, because the rules say, just go, people do stuff. What we did was everyone gets 2 actions. They get 2 things to do. So, okay, I'm going to do my 2 things. Okay, Devin, you do your 2 things. Kat, do your 2. And so we just kind of went like that. But yeah.
Must be order.
It's awesome. Like, the artwork is awesome because you can look at it and see, like, animal.
Huh? There was a shark in the water.
That was terrifying.
Dead birds.
Yeah, you could see like animal tracks, and you can actually look and be like, oh, they're going this way, and you can actually follow it to a number
to hunt
them. Yeah, we didn't do that. We were like, oh, animal tracks. Fuck it.
Anyway,
we need to keep going. It's super cool. You can go off and search, and everything just makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard. The Tainted Grail is going to be like a mix of this and. Cool. So yeah, that's my number 3, Seventh Continent.
All right, my number 3 will always be in my top 10. It was last year at number 7. It's so I can only see it staying right around here, maybe even going higher. You have any guesses?
No.
If it was a pile of crap, it would be an enormously huge pile of crap.
What?
I don't know.
I'm like that.
I'm trying to come up with a Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh, okay. I thought that was gonna be your number 1.
No.
I was gonna guess Shadows of Brimstone.
Shadows of Brimstone. Since we did the last 100, Forbidden Fortress has come out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Kickstarter going right now for Gates of Valhalla and Serpent King. There's so much stuff for this game. Like I have 3 hanging file folder cases full of tiles. I have a huge stack of boxes about yay big full of minis I've put together. And then that's just a little regular size minis. All my big minis are on top of my shelf. Kind of like
what I'm doing with Kingdom Death.
It's just ridiculous, I didn't do the very first Kickstarter, which it would have cost me like $450 to get it all in on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was about $2,000 worth of stuff in that one.
Damn.
And
now you're kicking yourself.
I went and bought it all.
Do you have everything
from the first Kickstarter?
Oh, okay.
But I've spent about $1,800.
God.
That. Just getting caught up to that, and then I spent $350 on Forbidden Fortress, and that's about $1,200 worth of stuff. And now we're doing this one. It's just so much crap. In doing so, I found out that I love putting miniatures together. I will never paint them.
I don't know. Have you tried?
I don't want to. I don't have a steady enough hand.
Gotcha.
It's too much sometimes.
Yeah, I don't have a.
Just wait till I get handy those hate minis.
But anyway, it's the reason this is so good. Shadows of Brimstone is a is a Western. In the core box, the original thing was it's a Western, but it is horror Western. You're going into these mines, and there's these evils in there, tentacles or void spiders, whatever.
Hentai.
There is portals that'll pop open, taking you to these other worlds, and that's where they have really broadened this game out because they have these big boxes of otherworld expansions. So there's an otherworld that is, you go to the swamps of Jargano. There's an otherworld that's Targa, the ancient city of Targa. Then there's a derelict ship. You go into the future and you're on a spaceship with zombie astronauts and stuff out there. There's a portal that takes you to Tradera, which is like this alternate reality World War I world, you know, and stuff. There's
But you're still a Western person,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
you're still these Western people going in. That's what's cool. But
Well, by
well,
golly!
and there's the Blasted Wastes, which is a post-apocalyptic one. You know, so what's cool though is you go into these worlds, and you fight these things, and you gain artifacts from these worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So like the campaign that me and the Chads have going right now, you know, Denton has this. He's a little orphan boy, and he has a lightsaber, like a
Like a lightsaber?
lightsaber, yeah. So he, you know, you get all these futuristic weapons. You know, I have a combat shotgun, and I'm a bandito, Mexican bandito. You know, it's like you get all these stuff from other worlds and everything. You can get allies. We have a burro that carries equipment for us.
Okay.
A donkey. So his name's Burrito. My Mexican bandito's name is Paco El Taco.
You fucking racist.
and Chad is a saloon girl named Ronda Rousey.
That's hot.
And the little orphan boy, his model broke his left arm, broke off the very first time we played.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't attached it because his name's Lefty.
Lefty.
But what happens in this is you get corruption,
Mm-hmm.
and once you get a certain number of corruption, you get you mutate. So then you roll dice for this mutation chart. So like right now, I have a tentacle mustache. I have horns. I did have a grown over mouth. I think I still have a grown over mouth. I used to have rock skin. And there's just all this different stuff. But if you roll the same mutation a second time, then you die.
Oh.
And it's what it is pretty much. It's just anything.
Yeah.
There was the Forbidden Fortress, which is the feudal Japan. You can start there if you want, and start with that. I'm using it as an otherworld because I don't like feudal Japan as much as I do Western.
You gotcha.
So you can just travel into there. The other worlds that come with that one is there's a Belly of the Beast. So that's an other world. You can just pop inside this huge monster.
Yeah.
And then that's where you're.
What I like about this of Shadows, besides the theme, I think the
Right.
Western Cthulhu mix is or all that is really interesting. Is that this is one of the few games where it's actual like drawing, like it's not like the creator or like the people in Flying Frog wearing costumes like.
Right. Which I don't mind that stuff either.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't hate it, but I like the fact that they actually put some art into their game. Obviously, Roll to Move is shitty.
I like the roll to move in this though. The roll to move is annoying as hell if you go into it, but every turn, and you've played a little bit of this.
Yeah, actually, I just got
right.
Swamps of Death from you. Have not even touched
every turn, at the beginning of every turn, you have to do a Hold Back the Darkness roll. And if you fail enough of those rolls, the darkness escapes the mine or the whatever, and then you lose.
Right.
That is the pressure of the roll and move. That's what I like about the roll and move is that, you know, you have to, if you're rolling bad, then there's more Hold Back the Darkness, and it's just thematically it just works. People have come up with variations and stuff for that, but
Right.
But anyway, it's a superb game. Of course you won't have this on.
No, I won't have it up by the time it's over.
But it's just a great game. Just check it out.
I've wanted to, because I did like it whenever we played it. Did we glue the little hat?
No, we were going to. A little hat came off of somebody else, and I was
That's
like, let's
right.
put it on the biggest monster there is, and we didn't.
Uh,
Sold it.
But I've thought about trying to get everything for it, but I don't want to go down
It's
that path.
big red.
You have everything, so it's like if I ever really want to play,
Yeah.
I'll just play yours.
Well, and that's the good thing about it is it's a campaign game. I
Mhm.
mean, you do that stuff, but it's not like there isn't a set story. Like you can just pick and choose what
Right.
stories you. If you want to do this mission, do that mission.
Mhm.
There are rumors that they're getting ready to do a campaign,
I can see
a
that.
set campaign log.
Yeah.
Is one of the. I think they kind of hint around in the stretch goals for this one,
Gotcha.
so we'll see what happens. But anyway, Shadows of Brimstone. It's 3. It may go higher. It just depends with this Valhalla stuff because I'm really liking the looks of the Norse Viking stuff in this.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
My number 2 is new to the list.
Ooh.
I know what your number 1 is then. So
Yeah, you do.
if this one's new.
My number 2 is Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven is it's perfect. Gloomhaven is a phenomenal game. Rightly at number 1, no for Board Game Geek, just because it doesn't have the state, like it hasn't been out long enough to deserve to be the best game in the fucking in all of time. But for me at number 2, it hits on all cylinders. I love, once again, this is also one of those games where the characters or the people that you are completely unorthodox. A completely unique world that's been created by Isaac Childress. And your character has their own, like, everything just feels unique. Your character has their own deck that they have. Everyone starts off with the same attack modifier deck. But over time, as you level up, you modify that so that then becomes your own, which fits your character. Your cards that you play for movement and for attacking, or for whatever, are all unique and centered around this character. The campaign is an actually well thought out campaign. There's actual consequences and paths that you can take. So the scenarios that I do, and then the core game. This is a game that deserves to be $100. Like, how can Gloomhaven be $100, but then Gen 7 has jack shit in it and they charge $100?
No idea.
Exactly.
That's a good comparison.
So you get 95 scenarios in this box, and I've done 8, I think. Each scenario takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do, depending on, and like some of them are all just kill all enemies, but as you play more and more, then they are actual different objectives you need to complete in the dungeon crawl. I love that you go back to Gloomhaven and you can have city events that, depending on your race or your choice, will affect the city event. I could have completely done, I'm not going to spoil the campaign for anyone, but there was an option to either help someone or not, and I chose to not, and so that closed off other scenarios that I could have done. And another really cool thing, it's not a legacy game, but you only start out with 4 characters, but as more retire or you do other stuff, then new characters come out for you to play. It's just like, whenever I said, D&D, like, Folklore does a good job for that, except for the overarching story. This has that as well. The only luck in this game is the attack modifier,
Yeah.
which I still really like, because you can miss. That's fine. It sucks when you miss because you're so, you need to play correctly, so a miss hurts. But then that stays, and then you can get it ×2. But over time, as you level up and modify, the chances of you missing are slimmer and slimmer because you're getting stronger. The quirky thing about this, which I love, is the hand management. That's what makes this game unique, because you have a certain hand of cards. You don't draw from a deck. You have all these cards available. You're just dumb. You just don't get it.
See, that's the thing. So if there's one thing I hated about this game, that's the one thing I hate. Like, this would be a
It's the
perfect
hand
game for
management.
me if they didn't have the hand management.
So I love hand
that's the
management in any game.
Well, no, I do too, but it's the way this is done in this.
So the way this works is, thematically, it's supposed to work, like I said, if one character has 10 cards, they will have 10 cards in their hand. So you get to choose. You always have to pick 2, and then you play 2 of them, and then the numbers in the middle are your initiative, so you get to choose which one you do. And then you have to pick a top section and a bottom section. But you don't have to pre-choose them. You can, once the enemies go, you can be like, oh shit, I need to change it. So you have some flexibility, but then once you do some of those, some of them will get lost because they're usually big, powerful ones, or they'll get discarded. And over time, you'll have to short rest or long rest, and you'll permanently lose more and more of your cards available. Now 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but you're only ever for like at most losing like 1, so you have quite a bit of time before you. If once you can't pick 2 cards, then you're exhausted and you're out of the scenario. So there's a strategy behind it. Like you don't want to jump out and do all your big attacks first because then you'll permanently lose them. So you're like, well, great, I don't. I don't have anything left. Now, one thing I'm potentially going to house rule is, because like even if there are no enemies on the board, you still have to pick 2 to move. I think I'm just going to house rule that and like just have us fucking move. Because I understand the theme behind it. It's supposed to be, you know, you're not gods, so you're running in, fighting a bunch of these creatures, so you become exhausted. I get all that. But whenever... Or like if there's still enemies on another section and you have to run over there, there's still time and you're like, we need to hurry up. But when there's no enemies anywhere on the board, I don't see any reason why you can't just be like, no, we're not going to play any cards. We're just going to move over there and continue. I'm thinking about house ruling it that way. Another smaller complaint that I'm starting to have, and my friend has, is at the end of the scenario, the money that you don't pick up is just lost. Like, you have to actively play a card that says loot to pick up anything within that vicinity. Which, I understand that too, because if you're fighting or there's enemies or shit going down, you don't really have time to you don't automatically get it. But, so I get that part, but it's like, once again, no enemies. So I don't really know how I want to take that, but those are pretty much my small complaints.
Well, and I had done the math before, you know, like, let's say, because I think the character I had 10 cards. Like what
Do you remember who you were?
It was the tank guy with the horns.
Oh, the Inox, the brute. Okay,
Yeah,
he has 10.
Yeah, so that means unless you have somebody in your deal that can give you cards back, you have 15 turns.
Okay.
That's all you have throughout the entire deal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I'm just like, that's just too rushed to me.
I
understand, and obviously I'm in the minority big time in this, but that's just the...
Yeah, most of the time, because I'm playing, in my solo campaign, I'm playing the Inox and the Sorceress, or the Spellweaver, and she has like 8. But she has a card that you always say for your very last move that pulls her lost cards back. So essentially she has 16. But she also has a lot of big spells that cause it to be lost. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like rush. Like I definitely never feel like a sense of leisurely pace. But I never feel like so rushed because typically I've had her exhaust herself, but it's always at the very end. Like normally, if she leaves, I'm about to win in 1 or 2 attacks. So there's definitely I think it's a different type of strategy.
Yeah, and it is something. I just had like the 3 scenarios we set up and played that night. We were getting ready to open up the last room, and I couldn't even walk into the last room because that was my last deal, so I just laid down and watched them guys fight.
Yeah, so I would almost guess there was something not working together, but I don't know. But those are pretty much my only complaints. I love the world. It's been, I just looked this up. My first Gloomhaven scenario that I put on the channel was over a year ago. So I've done 8. Well, I've also done the community event, which they do, and they're about to release their Forgotten Circles expansion. It's just more Gloomhaven. I think it's phenomenal, but you haven't played it, so number 2.
All right, my number 2 was my number 2 last year.
Ooh,
no change.
I do not remember what it was.
Well, number 1 was
Netrunner.
So number 2 then would be 5 Tribes.
Okay.
We guessed that earlier.
So 5 Tribes. You talked about it. I think in the 30s or the 20s. I think it's because we talked about it earlier.
It was 29.
Yeah. This game has been, I think it was number one when we did the top 10 of all time. That first time we did a top 10 with all those other guys.
Yep.
It was number one. It was number 2 last year, number 2 this year. I mean, it's pretty much just locked in. This has been one of my favorite games. Take away the AP part of it, of trying to figure out the deal. I love working through the puzzle of how to use stuff. I mean, like you said, it's you can't think ahead.
Yeah.
Because there's going to
You
be.
can't think too much ahead.
Right. I mean, you can kind of have a couple of plans.
Yeah.
If people are dropping.
Yeah.
But pretty much what you're doing is you're picking up everything on a tile, and as you move, you have to drop one, and then the last place you had dropped the last one, then you pick up everything of that color on that style. If you happen to clear everything on the tile, then you lay one of your camels down and you have control of that tile for that many bonus points. And then also that tile, most of the tiles have an ability that you can choose to buy stuff from a market, or get a gin, or place a palace or tree, whatever. There's just all kinds of different stuff. There's the set collection of getting your marketplace goods. The more variety you have in a set, the more they're worth. The interesting thing I've always thought about this game is victory points and money are equal.
Oh yeah.
Every $1 is 1 victory point.
Mm-hmm.
So you really, because there's the auctioning part at the very beginning of every turn.
Yeah.
So if you see this primo move out there that's going to get you X amount of points, you have to, when you're doing the auction, you only get one bid.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, am I going to spend
10
because
coins?
there's those numbers. Remember,
Yeah.
you have to put whatever the thing's out there.
Yeah.
You're going to bid 1, 3, 5, whatever. It's like, do I put 12 coins down on this son of a gun?
Or do I
I'm
not
gonna lose
and
it,
hope that they
and-
don't see that move?
Right. I mean, it's like, so you're like spending 12 victory points to maybe make 15. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, so there's just a lot of thought that goes into this game. It's a pretty game.
Mm-hmm.
The gens and stuff are awesome.
Yeah. When you know how they
There's-
work.
Right. The expansions. The first expansion was really nice because it added the pit and then the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So it made it to where you had to actually work around stuff.
Which kind of helped the analysis paralysis, I would think.
It does a little bit.
Versus
Yeah.
it just having 25 different
Right.
tiles. You're kind of limited on some.
And then it's just I don't know how else to really explain. It's just a great game. It's pretty on the table.
Yep.
It plays well with a lot of player counts. The 2-player variant. I don't know if you've ever played a 2-player.
We've always
You
done
both
3.
you get 2 turns per round
Okay.
because that's why there's 2 of the turquoise and 2 of the pink
Oh, okay.
tokens
Mm-hmm.
there. So you get because you can take 2 turns in a row.
Gotcha.
It's different. It's not bad. I don't prefer it to or anything.
Right.
I prefer it with 3 or 4.
Okay.
But wonderful game. 5 Tribes, my favorite Days of Wonder game.
Yep. Okay.
Number 1.
Oh,
Can you guys guess
and
my
I'm
number
shocked. Scythe.
It's Scythe! Scythe is the only game on this entire list that stayed the same. I gotta be honest though, like, it was close. Like, I think Gloomhaven could have probably taken it, only because Gloomhaven is phenomenal. No, actually, it couldn't, because I do have some minor qualms with Scythe. I have no complaints with Scythe. No, sorry, qualms with Gloomhaven.
We knew what you
I have no complaints with Scythe. Just 0. There is nothing wrong with that game in my mind.
except the art.
Fuck off.
The whole reason it was made.
Scythe, if you don't know, is an alternate Europa setting. The game was built around its artwork, where you play a faction, where you have a faction with a unique ability, and then you have another board that your actions are randomized, or like your action board is different from everyone else's. So whenever you place your pawn in one of the 4, you do the top and bottom or bottom action. So it's like, okay, well, my bolster, which gives me more power, allows me to also buy a mech. and stuff like that. And whereas your bolster might allow you to build a structure or something like that. So there's just a different randomness of the tile that you get. I love the theme. I love the strategy behind it. There's so many just different ways that you can win. I love how this game is not combat heavy, even though it can be. One faction is actually built around combat.
The black, isn't it?
The black faction, yeah, they get multiple stuff. So you have goals. Everyone has the same objectives to get. And so whenever you complete them, you place a star on there. And the first one to place all 6 of their stars, the game is over, but then you go to end game scoring. So you could place all 6 stars and still lose.
Right.
So the players kind of dictate how quickly the game is. Like the core game, like I said, everything is just so smooth, so streamlined.
So pretty.
Yeah, the artwork is just phenomenal. I love how you move, if you move your character token onto a spot with an encounter, you draw a card, which is also this very beautiful artwork, and you have options on what you want to do. And the options, like, are what you see on the thing. So if you see farmers and a mech, it can be like, oh, help the farmers, you gain popularity and some food, or you can attack the mech and you gain a mech. And so all of them are like really good choices. Every faction is unique and they all have really good abilities. Then you add the expansions. So one expansion, and this is what makes Stonemaier games fantastic, is one is actually a small encounter expansion that was based off of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
The fans made these encounters.
Is it
Some of them are,
Huh? The warships were fan
Yeah,
made
so,
too, isn't it? Yeah, it
I
was.
think so, yeah. But so the encounters that the fans made, you can definitely tell the fans made it because some of them are busted. Then, so you have just more variety. Then you have the first expansion, which has added 2 more factions, which are awesome. Like one's the Japanese faction that they lay traps in areas, and those traps suck because losing any number of popularity or power is huge. The other faction places flag tokens, so they just always control that area. Then, so that was one, and then the other faction was the ships. A lot of people's main complaints was the moving around the board was pretty slow because you have to get Riverwalk, which is a mech, and then you can start getting your mechs over, and your mechs can carry workers, so that's how you spread out. The warships don't have to have that. They can carry people, so it just increases mobility. Mm-hmm. And then with the warships, they add, you put in two cards, and one's for like a passive that affects everyone, and then the other one is if the warships get into combat. So it just adds completely different modules that change the game up even more. And then they added the Rise of Fenris expansion. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Fenris, which is a campaign. And it's not a legacy game. It is just a campaign that you can play over and over. And once you're done with the campaign, you can just add these modules into the game just regularly. Like, spoilers, I guess, for this campaign. It's only the second game. But in the first game, it's pretty much just a regular, kind of with some small tweaks, but nothing really anything. But after that one, it was like, do you want to go the war route or the peace route? And everyone voted based off of what influence tokens we got for how many things that we finished in the first game.
Yeah.
So we all, me, Kat, and my friend Josh, we all voted peace, and my friend Devin went war, so obviously we went the peace route. So that changed up game 2. But it was really neat because in game 2, spoilers, you could, you had a token where you could trade, like, to another player, and he got your ability, and you got his ability. And it was, I mean, something small, but I loved it. I loved, Kat and I traded. I loved having her ability available to me. This is another game.
You lose yours when you
No,
trade?
you
So
keep
you
both.
just get both of them?
Yep. Yep. So, and the person who didn't, in a 3-player game, they got like 10 coins or something. Because in this game, like 5 tribes, coins are victory points. So at the end, whoever has the most money is the winner. There was a really awesome opening, story into the campaign.
Like in depth.
It was in depth. It was like 3 pages. And I was like, oh shit, I'll read this by myself and I'll summarize it for you guys. It was awesome. I loved it. It was pretty much what you would expect it to be. But yeah, so I thought that was a nice, awesome small thing of being able to trade abilities. Yeah, there's no luck to this game at all. Like, there's mind games, and I guess I lied. There is some small luck with the combat cards that you can draw. But combat is like what are they, like, because you can only ever do a max of 7. Even if you have 18 power, you can only do max of 7. But if I'm over 7, then whoever's fighting can be like, oh, he's probably going to do 7. So, and he has a combat cover. What does he have? So you can kind of read your opponent. You can look at what's in the discard pile because there's a list of, there's 5 level 5 cards. So you can look at there and be like, well, there's 3 in there, but there's still some in the deck. So you can try and guess, bluff, and it's just fantastic. Resources don't come off the board, they stay there, so if you're hoarding resources, you're probably going to be a target.
Mm-hmm.
Which in the run-through I did for Scythe a long time ago, my friend was hoarding food, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to attack him. And I attacked him and I won because attackers win ties. But whenever everything is like a double-edged sword to it, because if I beat him and he has workers in there, no one dies, they all go back home, but my popularity goes down for each worker gets sent back because they go home and they're like, fuck those guys. But then I'm like, great, and then I used all of his food. I used up all his food. So, yeah, Scythe, I can't imagine it would ever leave just because now the rise of it, there's just so many different modules that get added to this that has so much replayability to me. But yeah, Scythe is my number 1. Nothing?
No, it's a good game.
Cool.
Solid.
It's not a bad game.
Cool. Can I guess your number 1?
Sure.
If it's not, have I played it?
Yeah.
If
It's new to my list.
Is it?
Yep.
What could it? Is it a new game?
What do you mean by new?
Like came out last year?
No.
No.
I would say it's been out within the last 3 years, maybe. Maybe 4.
I would have guessed Brimstone, and then if it wasn't Brimstone, my next was 5 Tribes, and then that was number 2, and then Netrunner, but that was your number 10.
Yep.
Do I own it?
Yes.
Well, shit.
Is it based on Marvel?
No.
Shit.
Is it?
All the games are
I
gone.
can't look at my
I
games
know.
anymore to try and get any. I don't know. I got no.
You got nothing?
No.
Still thinking?
I don't know.
Because it sucks. Because you said you say I own
Is it
it.
Sagrada? Is it?
No,
Just
it's
read
not-
off all
it's
the
not
board
over
games
there.
over there.
Because you say I own it and I've played it.
Yep.
Have I played it?
Yep.
Oh shit. That does not narrow it down.
We played it.
Oh god.
Orleans.
Yeah.
There you go. I was like, wait, has he already said it? Orleans, really? That's your number 1
I
game?
love this game. I love.
Well, you're welcome.
Love it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, this game. I don't know. You know, we played it that night. We didn't even finish the game.
Right.
Because I had to leave.
Oh yeah, cause I
Um,
think I can't remember why you had to leave. It was some
It was
stupid
because of
reason.
Faith
though.
having a date. And I had
Yeah,
to
and you're like,
chaperone
damn it.
Yeah. But no, this game is just awesome. I mean, we just played. I think we played with the trade board when we played that time.
I think so too. Yeah.
With the different deals, like I've played it with the base game when I've been teaching it to somebody.
Yeah. And you threw that
and-
away. 'Cause
Well,
you're
no,
like,
it's
"Fuck this."
just because. But you only have because you have the 18. What do they call the timer?
Oh yeah,
the
the event tiles.
But there's only 6 things 3 times
Yeah.
in that, so it kind of gets kind of stale on
Mhm.
those. So you get those other ones rocking and rolling in there, and you have the trade center, which is so much better than the stupid one deal.
Boy, you
the
talk
no
about-
intrigue.
Yeah.
You get rid of
You still
intrigue.
have that
I
board,
can't,
don't you?
I can't throw it
Just
away.
fucking
I can't
burn
throw
it, man.
away. It's there, but I don't. And then you get the invasion.
Oh, the co-op one.
Yeah, what is it Orleans Invasion? Isn't it? That's the name of that big
Oh,
box expansion.
yeah.
It has the solo mode and the co-op and all that jazz. But this game is just, I mean, I spent all that time, I went through all 200 and some odd tokens and put coin capsules on all of them. Just so
That's
that
right.
they feel really nice coming out of the bag. And,
Mhm.
then none of them get a little stuck down the corner. They're all heavy
Yeah.
coin capsules, which are awesome. But pretty much in this game, it's a bag building game. You start off with a certain number of
Or that with
deals.
I think.
You pull them out, you'll set them on your deal, then everybody at the same time, you place them on your board. Once you fill up a deal, if it takes more than one, if it just takes one, you in turn order, you complete something.
Mhm.
So you if you do the fisherman, you as you spin them, they go back in your bag. You take a fisherman off the deal, toss it in, move your thing down the track.
Mm-hmm.
That's as simple as it is. I mean, you're getting technologies to make some of your things more efficient. You
Yep.
are getting more spaces that only you can use,
Yep.
which is awesome. There's also a map that is out there that you move around on if you do the road or the
Yep.
river, and you move your things around, gathering resources as you're out there, and then building settlements, or I guess they're called
Guild
settlements,
halls.
guild
is what
halls,
they're called.
at different towns, but only one can be built per town
Yep.
and all that stuff. So this whole while as you're doing all this stuff, you're set collecting deals because they're worth stuff. The
Civilians.
things. No, the like the
Development.
silk and the
Oh,
you like
the goods.
the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goods. You're collecting those because they are worth points at the end. Which I like to get the silk and just load up on
Oh,
silk.
yeah.
That was what I did that first time.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I did the first game too.
and then you
'cause
get the books is what I call it, which it's the unit when you do the university
Yeah.
and you move up and get booked, and then you have the civilian things you pick up and that multiplies.
Mhm.
But it's just there's a lot of stuff to do in this game. You always will have something to do.
Yeah.
Then you have the town hall, especially in the trade expansion. That's how you make your bag more streamlined, is you can
Yep.
start putting stuff out there and taking advantage of stuff, and that gets it out of your bag.
I love how the events are later on in the round,
Yes.
so you can plan for
Yes,
the shitty ones.
the event shows, but then you can prepare. So if it says you're going to lose 5 or however 3 resources, 2
Yeah.
resources or whatever, if you have 3 resources, pay 5
Yeah.
coins or whatever, you can manipulate
Mhm.
and do stuff. It's
Or a plague, then you can just have
Yeah.
everyone out. So
Right.
when you pull out of your
exactly.
bag,
So it's like there's so much with this game. I have only played the co-op once, and it's a
it's
beast.
hard.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
we did the co-op to Orleans once.
Yeah, I
don't,
remember.
I don't think we won. It was difficult.
I don't think we won either. I think we
Yeah,
weren't
but-
playing.
And me liking this game so much is why Altiplano is high up on my list too.
Gotcha.
Because I get the same feeling with that, just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
It's Euro through and through.
Yep.
And the art's kind of okay. I wish
Yes.
I kind of had the deluxe version of it since it's my
Just so
number
you
one
can have
game.
the biggest box, the big box, so everything fits in it.
And it's not that much bigger. It's only like
It doesn't need to be.
it's like an inch. I know, but all those damn organizers. It's like there's not an organizer for that game, and it pisses me
Right.
off.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
You'd think with as good of a game as this, somebody would put. I got an email earlier today. Somebody's making a wooden expansion for the bigger, geekier game box,
Really?
and I'm like, why would you?
Yeah, there doesn't
It's
even need
the
to
box
be
is
one.
fucking heavy enough.
Yeah, there doesn't even need to be one.
But yeah. Anyway, Orleans, my number one. I'm not gonna say it's not as definitive as your
Scythe is.
Scythe, because I mean it is great, but it could be.
Yeah.
Like I said, Shadows of Brimstone. It's just all 3 of those with 5 tribes and
Yeah.
all that stuff are just right there.
Yeah, I would say that the gap between 1 and 2 is it's not like right there, but I mean, yeah, Scythe is pretty solid. Like it's a perfect 10 for me.
It got the reason Scythe I didn't care for it as much is because I went into it expecting more conflict.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, there's
And
like
I know,
almost
and
none.
it turned out being something that I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting, and I just think it just didn't hit that way. I think I liked it. It was
Yeah.
okay. I was expecting it to be mech combat.
Yeah, no, not at all. In fact, I think Vassal was like that too. Like the first time he played, he's like, it's okay. Then he played it more and more,
Oh, yeah, I'm
and then
sure.
now he's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and then I sold it. My collector.
I have
sold
your-
it to John,
I have
and
your-
then we bought it
yep.
from it. Yeah, so.
I
So
just
yeah,
want, I
my,
want the
my,
metal
my
mechs.
baby is here in this house. but yeah, yeah, it's just good stuff. And there's so many games, like we do this list, and there's so many games I haven't played yet that I know would be on this list. I want to try Feast Road sometime, because I know Feast Road would be on my
It'll
list.
be in there too. Yeah.
Because I love the Polyomino
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I mean,
I
games are just getting better and better. More and more are coming out, which makes running a YouTube channel more difficult. Because
Right.
I mean, even just 4 years ago, I mean, when I started out, I already had a lot of games, so I was like, well, I mean, I have all these to do. But then as I kept doing it, I'm like, crap, I need to get the new ones out
Mhm.
still.
To be fair, YouTube also makes running a YouTube channel difficult.
That's true. I mean, especially if it's your job, which is why it's not as stressful. But it's like, oh, well, I want to get the new Kickstarter out because that's the hotness, so
Yeah.
that'll increase my subscriber count. But then half the time they suck. Actually, we've been on a pretty good Kickstarter.
They haven't been as bad. I remember when Seth used to tell me he's getting a new Kickstarter game, I was like, woo fucking who?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
gonna be bad.
right. It's gonna suck because we
Yeah.
were on a pretty bad binge for Kickstarters.
Why'd
but
you
now,
waste our money again?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, even in this one wasn't as bad. You know, last time we did the 100, it took a longer time for us to finish it.
Mhm.
So we were, it was already changing by the time we were to 50. This one, yeah, I know there are new games,
Mhm.
but it's not like I'm like, oh, well, this one in my top 10 is definitely moving down now. Like this, I mean, I'm very happy with this 100.
Yeah, I had made one change to my list after the time we
Mhm.
had it finalized. Towards getting there, and that was because we had played Spirit Island since we
Oh,
played it,
right.
so I added it.
Well, I also
Bugs.
had us wait like almost till the end of December for
Right.
us to do it because I was like, nope, I need to play these games. I know they will be on it.
Mhm.
So,
And were they?
yes, they were. In fact, they
Hell
were in the
yeah.
top 10. Like Deep Madness
Hell
was one of
yeah.
them.
Yeah, this was fun.
So yeah, that is our top 100 games of all time. Obviously, we will be doing this again, probably at some point around the same time. But fantastic games. You know, let us know what your top 10 games are in the comments below. But thank you for sticking around for the entire series, I guess, of these top 100. Kat, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, being a vital part of the conversation.
You're very welcome.
Uh,
It's an honor.
Next time we might have you do your top 100 with us and make the videos even longer.
Top 100 games I have a very slight memory of playing.
I think I remember this one. But anyway, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.